All right, calling cause number 24DCV0465, Department of Family and Protective Services versus Cheyenne Puckett and Brandon Davidson for a compliance hearing. Is the respondent mother, Cheyenne Puckett, present?
Yes, I am, Judge.
Cheyenne Puckett, all right, I have you marked present. Your attorney is here as well, of course, and I believe I see Mr. Brandon Davidson. If you can unmute and announce your appearance, sir.
Yes, can you hear me now?
All right, I can. I have you marked present. Mr. Davidson, I'll let you go back to mute in the meantime. Your attorney is here as well. Let me get everyone, Ms. Puckett and Mr. Davidson, and everyone who may testify. If you will raise your right hands to be sworn, please. All right, and Mr. Davidson, you too. I don't know if I can see your hand very good. All right, do you all swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes?
Yes,
right.
Judge.
All right, thank you. Again, we are here for a compliance hearing, and so with that, Ms. Dick, you may call your first.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to call Ms. Puckett.
All right.
Ms. Puckett, please state your name for the record.
Cheyenne Puckett.
All right, and you're the mother of the three children, the three children in this case. And can you please give me the the names and ages of your children?
So, on the docket, it might be listed as Weston Still Dorothy.
Let's use their initials, please.
Yeah, initials is fine.
Okay. So NAD is 5 years old. BAD is 4 years old now. AJD is 9 months, about 10 months. 10 months.
Okay. And where are the children currently living?
That currently with me and my mom. But that will change.
And how will it change?
So I need to be able to go back.
I'm going to object to relevance at this time as far as compliance setting for today.
Your Honor, it's extremely relevant, given that there are new developments in the case, and we need to determine.
The objection is overruled for now.
Do I continue?
You may. Yes.
So it's going to change in the fact that I need to get a job and I need to go back to school. So I spoke to. And
Judge, after that, I'll object to not responsive.
Sustained. Wait for the next question, please.
Okay. So the children are currently living with you and your mother, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is your plan for the children in the next month?
The next what?
Month.
Oh, they will be probably staying with Corey Davidson, the paternal grandmother.
All right. Will all three stay with Corey Davidson?
So the two youngest will, the oldest will not. He will stay with my mother.
All right. And why are you putting the two oldest children with Miss Davidson, the paternal grandmother?
I have no financial help from anybody besides my mother right now, so I need to get myself in a situation where I can financially provide for my children.
All right. And does your mother currently provide for your children, all three children?
Yes, she does.
And where does the 8-year-old go to school?
And Judge, again, I'm going to object at this point to relevance due to the compliance setting for today.
Right. Sustained as to where, but I will entertain a question regarding enrollment.
I can't.
They are enrolled. They are all enrolled. I mean,
wait for a question. Wait for a question.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
And Ms. Puckett, you said they're all enrolled? Or
yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you. Next question.
Okay. Let me go back one moment here. All right. Have you participated in random drug and alcohol testing that's requested by the department?
Yes.
How many times have you drug tested?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure, but quite a few.
And have you had any positive results?
And Judge, I'm going to object to hearsay.
Sustained.
Have you completed the domestic violence education program?
I have 3 more classes left. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you currently have a boyfriend?
Judge, I'm going to object to relevance.
Your Honor, there was...
Overruled. Overruled. You may answer.
Do you currently have a boyfriend?
I no longer do know. I did, yes.
And who was that boyfriend?
His name is was Danny.
Danny what? His last name?
Keen.
And Judge, again, I'm going to object to relevance. If she said this was her prior boyfriend, you can remember the last hearing they had an issue. They wanted to know the people who were just visiting the home. So I would object to relevance since she said she's no longer with this boyfriend.
Sustained.
Your Honor, I need to be able to pursue this line of questioning. This is a very recent boyfriend, and there is relevance regarding who has been in the home of the maternal grandmother.
Sustained. The court sustained the objection. Next question.
Do you have an open investigation with CPS at this time?
Yes.
What is it regarding?
So there was new allegations that were brought against me, and then currently in court right now.
What were the allegations?
And Judge, I'm going to object to hearsay.
Any response, Ms. Dick?
Your Honor, there are new concerns that have been brought up related to this case regarding the safety of the children and who has been allowed in the home. This investigation is relevant, related to the safety of the children.
And Judge, I think that should be from her witness that will come here and testify to the new allegations, not something that was told to Ms. Puckett.
So the objection is sustained. Next question.
All right. So what are your plans for the children if you turn over care and custody of them to their grandparents?
So I obviously would.
And Judge, I would object to, one, it calls for facts that are not admitted in the evidence. She didn't say anything about turning over care, custody, and control.
Well, overruled. Answer the question, please, Ms. Puckett.
Can you repeat the question so I make sure I answer it correctly, please?
Okay. What are your plans for the children when you turn over, if you turn over care and custody of the children to their grandparents?
So I never did plan on turning over custody. I do I was asking for help, yes. I planned on enrolling the AD into a school over there if that's what, we still have to discuss that. We haven't really fully discussed all of those details yet.
And who will you be discussing them with?
Corey Davidson.
And has she, well, all right. What else prompted your decision to turn over custody?
And Judge, I would object to ask and answer.
Overruled.
Really just the financial aspect of it and the fact that I would, in order to go to work, I have no one to help with the babysitting or the financial responsibility of the 3 kids besides me and my mom. So that's...
I'll pass the witness at this time. I may come back to ask more questions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Ivory Lindsay.
Ms. Puckett, were there any additional recommendations that were given to you by your domestic violence class?
No, it was just a domestic violence class.
Okay. And you stated you have 3 more classes to go before you're completed?
Yes, ma'am.
Are those classes held virtually?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Have the children been going to school regularly or childcare?
Yes, they have not missed any days.
Okay. Have you been keeping a safe and a safe environment for the children?
Yes, of course.
Have you been participating in the orders as far as making sure the children are given to grandmother for possession and access for dad?
Yes.
And do you have any concerns with grandmother having the children as far as supervising possession and access?
I do not.
That's all I have, Judge.
All right. Thank you, Ms. White.
Ms. Puckett, do you believe that the 3 children should stay together?
I obviously would like what's best for my kids, and as of right now, I feel like I'm making the right choice by allowing one to stay where he is and the other to go with. Well, the reason I say that is because Noah is adopted, and he has more of a home environment with my mom, so he's used to it there. He doesn't want to leave. I've asked him.
Okay. Now, of course, the paternal grandmother, Miss Davidson, she also has a good relationship with Noah, correct?
Yes, she does.
Okay. And they've been close for most of his life?
Of course, yes, they have.
Okay. And you believe that Miss Davidson would provide a safe environment for the children?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And you believe that she would ensure that all the children are in school and well cared for?
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay. Now, with regard to the baby, was there an incident involving the baby?
Yes. So, like I said, I have no help with my children. Besides, my mom being there and stuff, but she's 86. So she had fallen asleep on my bed and I was watching a movie and I decided just to leave her there. Well, I ended up dozing off and she rolled off because she's starting to crawl now and stuff. So she ended up rolling off and falling in between the bed and the wall. Okay. And so she had a bruise from here.
Okay. Can you tell the court if anyone else was present besides you, Ms. Puckett?
My mom was, but she wasn't in the room with me.
Okay. And was your boyfriend present?
No, he was not. And he's not. He's no longer my boyfriend.
Okay. As of what date?
Let me look at my calendar really quickly, just so I don't get it wrong.
And Judge, I would object her from reading from a document that's not in evidence.
Oh, okay.
Ms. Puckett, don't read from it. You may refer to it to refresh your memory and then let us know if your memory's been refreshed, but don't read from it.
Okay.
don't testify from it. All right.
So this past Sunday, it was probably two or 3 days before that.
Okay. So approximately Friday of last week?
Yes, ma'am. Thursday or Friday.
Okay. Did you have plans to move out of state with your boyfriend?
Oh, no.
Okay. And can you tell me, it's my understanding that you met with Mr. Davidson this past weekend. Is that correct?
For the visitation, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you were able to observe him with his children. Is that right?
For the most part, yes, ma'am.
Do you believe that Mr. Davidson is a loving and caring father?
I do, yes.
Okay. And you believe that the children are not in danger when they're around Mr. Davidson. Is that correct?
As of right now, I still agree to the supervised visitations.
But you haven't.
From my knowledge, he hasn't completed any of the drug tests or classes or anything. So
objection non-responsive, Your Honor, move to strike.
Sustained, so stricken.
Now, Ms. Puckett, you haven't seen him harm your children, have you?
And Judge,
No.
at this point, I'm going to object to this line of question only due to relevance of her compliance.
Okay. All right. Now, with regard to your compliance, well, Your Honor, I pass that witness.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Purdue-Wheeler.
Yes, Judge, and I apologize because I'm working in a bit of a war zone, so sorry. I have a few questions, ma'am, regarding your compliance with this case. Have you, since the last hearing, have you attended all of the drug tests for which you've been requested to attend?
I've missed some, yes, ma'am.
Do you know about how many you missed according to your own understanding?
2.
Do you remember roughly when those were?
So the recent one I did miss. I'm out of town right now. I'm not in Texas.
Where are you currently?
In Colorado. But I'm headed home today.
So if you're in Colorado, who's caring for your children right now?
My mother.
Your 86-year-old mother?
Yes, and my aunt, Sonia Miller.
Why are you choosing to potentially split the children up as we move forward in this case?
I spoke to my son, and that is what he requested. And the only conversation I've had with Ms. Davidson is for the other 2 children. I didn't ask about the oldest.
And do you think that the paternal grandmother will be protective of the children?
I'm sorry, Ms. Purdue-Wheeler. Mr. Davidson, I don't know what you're doing, but stop. Put your hand down. Go ahead, Ms. Purdue-Wheeler.
Ma'am, do you think that Mr. Davidson's mother would be protective of the other 2 children with him?
I believe so, yes.
Who picks your children up from school currently?
They ride the bus.
Are you in communication with the school custodians or the administrative staff at their school?
Pertaining to...
Objection relevance.
Has to do with what's happening with the children that are subject to this suit. I'm asking if she has access to information.
Oh, yes, of course I do.
Are you aware of any incidences relating to your children at school in the past week or 2?
Yes, I am.
Did you personally witness any incidences at the school?
No, I have not.
Are you concerned for the children's safety while at school?
With the recent
Objection non-responsive. It goes
situation.
yes or no, Your Honor.
Yes.
Sustained. All right. Next question.
Does your concerns regarding the children's safety at school to do with any of the school officials or teachers, or from other outside influences?
Other outside influences.
Are there any other services that you've been asked to complete that you have not completed at this time?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Ask this witness, Judge.
All right. Thank you. Back to you, Ms. Dick.
All right. When you say your children ride the bus, where do they get on the bus?
And Judge, I'm going to object to relevant.
How far is the bus?
Overruled.
How far is the bus stop from your mother's home?
They pick them up right in front of the gate. It's maybe not even a 20-second walk.
Okay. And did you contact law enforcement regarding any incident which took place at the school this week?
No, but I was contacted by them.
Objection non-responsive. After no.
Sustained.
So you're currently asking for supervised visitation to continue with Mr. Davidson, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And how long have you been in Colorado?
3 days now, or 4 days now.
And was this a planned trip?
No, it was not.
Okay. What prompted you to go to Colorado?
And Judge, I'm going to object to relevant. It has nothing to do with her compliance, Judge.
Overruled.
I received a phone call.
Judge, I would object to hearsay.
Sustained.
Why did you go to Colorado?
A family emergency.
What type of family emergency?
Well, someone called me and told me that.
And Judge, I'm going to object to hearsay.
Any response, Ms. Dick? Right. Sustained. Next question.
Okay. So is your 86-year-old grandmother, or sorry, mother, able to handle the children without your help or your aunt's help?
Yes, she is.
Okay. Was part of the agreement, or part of the, you were to be with your mother, but she was to be supervising you with the children? Is that correct?
Yes, I believe so.
And was your mother present when the child rolled off the bed?
She was in the home, yes. She wasn't in the room with me, no.
Was anyone else present?
No, it's just me and my daughter.
Pass the witness.
All right, thank you. Back to you, Ms. Iver-Lindsay. To you.
Ms. Puckett, to clarify, you missed one drug test
I believe so.
the time that we, hold on, let me finish my question. From the time that we left court the last time, you went immediately and drug tested then, correct?
Yes, ma'am. I went the same day.
Okay. And since then, how many requests have been made for you to drug test?
2, I believe, but one was a recent one, like a reminder.
Okay. And so since being in Colorado, have you been asked to drug test?
Yes.
Okay. And so will you be doing that drug test when you return?
Yes, I plan on going the same day I return if I'm able to.
Okay. And you stated that is your understanding that you are to be supervised by your mom?
Yes.
Okay. And is that in any order that you signed, that we signed?
I believe so.
Okay. Did you sign a safety plan prior to this case beginning in court?
Yes.
Okay. And was that in that safety plan that you agreed that your mom will be a supervisor?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so.
Okay. And did your daughter need any type of medical attention from falling off the bed?
She did have a bruise, but that was it. No.
Okay, I'm sorry. It must be delayed. Sorry. And if she needed medical attention, would you have taken her to the hospital?
Of course.
Okay. And is it your understanding that those are the new allegations against you? Is your daughter falling off the bed?
Yes, to my understanding.
Okay. And you stated that law enforcement contacted you about a school incident, correct?
Yes.
And were they, well, I'm assuming they were concerned about the incident that occurred, correct?
No, they actually, do I tell you what they did or what they called me for, showed up at the house for?
Did they call you or did they show up at the house?
They showed up at my mom's house because of a call that was received by Brandon Davidson to the school.
Objection, non-response, or no.
Okay. And this call that was made to the school by Mr. Davidson, did it cause them some concern?
No, the school is aware of the situation and
Objection, non-responsive after no.
No.
Sustained.
Okay. Has anyone given them information about this case, the kid's school?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have, Judge.
All right, thank you. Any other questions from anyone for Ms. Puckett?
Just really.
All right, yes, Ms. Purdue-Wheeler.
Oh, I have a moment between Sanders and Nailing. Ma'am, how did you afford to get to Colorado?
My mom helped me with the financial needs.
Okay. And is your 86-year-old mother prepared to prevent Mr. Davidson from forcibly removing any of the children from her care or home?
Objection.
I think it's super relevant.
Overruled. You may answer.
May you repeat the question, please?
Is your 86-year-old mother prepared and able to prevent the father of these children from forcibly removing the children from her care and her home?
She has the means to protect herself, yes.
No further questions at this time, Judge.
All right, thank you. Ms. Dick, back to you.
What are her means to protect herself?
Well, there's the police that's literally down the street from our house, but he lives maybe a mile down the street that she personally knows and has spoken to. And then, she has her phone where she can dial 911, and I'm sure that they'll show up right away because we've never had a problem with that at all. And in order to get onto the property, you have to go through a gate, and the gate's always shut.
How did you go to Colorado? Did you drive yourself?
Judge, I'm going to object to relevance. At this point, her visiting Colorado, it's already been established that she's there. It's already been established it was a family emergency. And now how she got there, how she paid for it, I think is not relevant to her compliance today.
How is that relevant, Ms. Dick?
Based on prior testimony that she had broken up with her boyfriend who was in the home. I'm just trying to determine if she accompanied him to Colorado.
Okay, the objection is sustained. I believe she testified earlier that he did not. Did he accompany you to Colorado, Ms. Puckett?
No.
Okay. All right. No other questions. Thank you. At this time, I may recall her later. Thank you.
Any other questions from anyone for Ms. Puckett?
I do, Your Honor.
All right.
Ms. Puckett, Mr. Davidson has not appeared at your residence to take possession of the children, has he?
No, he has not.
Okay. And as a matter of fact, Mr. Davidson has even tried to stop you from harming yourself. Is that correct?
And Judge, I'm going to object to one, assumes facts not in evidence. And
Sustained.
Okay. Did you go to Colorado to see your boyfriend?
And Judge, I'm going to object to asked and answered.
Sustained.
Okay. I'll pass the witness.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Dick, you may call your next.
All right. At this time, I'd like to call the caseworker.
All right, is that
Ms. Townsend Johnson.
Townsend Johnson? All right, Ms. Townsend Johnson, I believe you were sworn in. If you will unmute your device, please. You may proceed.
Thank you. I just didn't see her on the screen. Thank you. Okay. Ms. Johnson, what is the current compliance of the mother in this case with the court-ordered services?
She was to do a BIP assessment and follow the recommendations.
All right. And did she do that?
She is.
She's currently doing it?
Yes.
Okay. And how many times did she drug test?
She used to drug test once a week. The last one I have was 8/27/24.
All right. And how many times total has she drug tested since the case began?
7.
And were there any concerns regarding the drug test?
Yes, they were all positive.
What arrangement did you make with the mother regarding the supervision of her children in her mother's home?
The supervision is to be monitored at all times by the maternal grandmother with all the interactions.
And have you had any contact with the maternal grandmother since this case began?
Yes.
And were you able to explain to her the provisions of the supervision?
Yes.
Have you seen the youngest child since the incident that the mother described?
Yes.
And how is she doing?
She's doing okay.
Did the mother indicate that they took her in for any type of medical care?
No.
As the caseworker on this case, did you have concerns regarding that decision?
Yes, I asked her to get her to urgent care or the emergency room as soon as possible, and she told me she was out of town, that she would try to arrange it with her mom, but I don't clearly recall what she stated was the reason that I think she said that something with the insurance card or something.
Judge, I'm going to object to speculation.
Sustained.
All right. And to your knowledge, was the child taken to the hospital or urgent care?
No, not since I spoke with her about it.
Okay. Can you tell me about Mr. Davidson's current compliance?
Meaning?
What services has he actually complied with?
None of the court-ordered services thus far. He did a psychosocial assessment, which is what the provider requires to get started with anger management. That was on 9/21, and he's supposed to start anger management on 10/9.
All right. And how did you communicate with him regarding the scheduling of these services?
Well, the provider schedules the services with the client.
All
I follow up with him via phone or email to make sure that he's accessible.
All right. So when the provider schedules the services, do they notify you?
Yes, they do, by email.
All right. And then how did you follow up with Mr. Davidson? Did you say phone or email, or phone and email?
His phone recently has been an issue, so it's mostly with email.
And when you say his phone has been an issue, what do you mean exactly?
He told me that his phone was off. He was calling me from someone else's phone.
Did he say why his phone was off?
He did not.
Did you ask him?
He stated he didn't pay his bill.
All right. Who else did you notify of each service that he was scheduled for?
His attorney and you are included in the emails.
When was the last time you visited with the children?
On 10/1.
And was the mother present?
No, she was not.
How did you discover that she had gone to California? You may have mentioned this before, but if you could tell me once more.
Well, when I got to the visit, I was surprised she wasn't there. So I texted her and asked her why she didn't tell me. And she told me that it slipped her mind that she wasn't present, even though we had scheduled the visit prior to October.
All right. As the caseworker on the case, do you have concerns for the children's safety?
I do now.
And what do you mean by you do now?
Well, my initial concern that I brought up the last time we was in court was to get a background check on the guy that I knew nothing about that had the pit bull dog, and that was dismissed. And now the child comes up injured, and it's really not a valid explanation.
In your opinion, or do you believe that he was present when the injury occurred?
Judge, I'm going to object to speculation and no personal knowledge at all.
The same.
What has mother told you about the incident?
That she was watching a movie with the baby and she fell asleep and the baby fell out of the bed, between the bed and the wall.
Did she say what woke her up?
No.
I'll pass the witness. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Ivory Lindsay.
Miss Townsend Johnson, you stated that she is currently in compliance with the BIP program, correct?
Yes.
And are you aware of any other recommendations outside of attending those classes?
No. The only thing that I would like to bring up is that the provider did alert me
Judge,
that
again, I would object to non-responsive and hearsay.
Dan.
You stated that the last drug test you have is from 8/27 of this year.
Correct.
And you are requesting that she drug test once a week?
That is correct. That has been the request from the beginning of the case.
Okay. And how do you send those requests?
Either by telephone call to her, but mostly text messages 24 hours before.
Okay. And you stated that there's a requirement in place that she's monitored by her mother all the time?
Yes.
And when was this requirement put in place?
During the investigation phase of the case before it was turned over to me.
Okay, so this was a safety plan that she signed initially, correct?
Yes.
And those safety plans are voluntary, correct? Loser? Or did I not hear the answer?
I'm still waiting for an answer. Ms. Townsend Johnson, did you hear the question?
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
It's okay. I said those safety plans are voluntary, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And you would agree with me that accidents do happen with children, correct?
I don't understand.
Okay. Do children accidentally fall off of things?
They can, but if they're being monitored, they shouldn't.
Okay. So at no point in time, if somebody is monitoring their child and they fall off, it's not an accident, it's intentional? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what you asked me.
Okay. So I'll move on, Judge. Is that the cause of the new, well, to your knowledge, is that your understanding why the new intake was called in, is for the child falling off the bed?
That is correct.
Okay. And to your understanding, is it still being investigated, or do you not know?
That is correct.
It's still being investigated, is correct?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any concerns with the kids attending school currently?
No.
Has the school expressed any concerns to you for the children?
Not the school, no.
Okay. That's all I have, Judge.
All right, thank you, Ms. White.
Now, with regard to Mr. Davidson and his telephone, from his telephone, he's indicated that it's been an ongoing problem with communication because of where he's located, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that it could be that he doesn't have access. Is that right?
That could be, but that's not what he told me.
Okay. And when did he tell you this?
This was the 30th of September.
Okay. And have you been in contact with him since that date?
No, I've tried calling him back on the number he called me from, and I was not able to get him.
Okay. Did you send him an email after that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Mr. Davidson did reach out to BIP, correct? To schedule the appointment?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. And are you familiar with him contacting Dr. Farag regarding his psychiatric evaluation?
No, I don't have recollection of him contacting her. I emailed him that she was trying to get in touch with him to reschedule with her.
Okay. And when we were here at the hearing last, there was some discussion about whether or not someone had drug tested with his name. Do you recall that testimony?
I do.
Okay. And can you tell the court what happened when you investigated that further?
It was found out that it was not Mr. Davidson that went and took that drug test.
Okay. All right. And so with regard to Mr. Davidson, or let's say Corey Davidson, do you have any concerns with her ability to supervise the periods of possession with Mr. Davidson?
I do not.
I pass the witness, Ron.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Purdue-Wheeler.
Yes, Judge, thank you. Ma'am, what is the point of this court order services case? Like, what is the end goal?
We would hope that the parents would work the services, learn some new behaviors, some new coping skills, ultimately co-parent in different households, and these kids can get some permanency.
So the goal is for the children to remain with their parents. That's the point of ordering parents to do services, correct?
That is correct.
So what is the point of ordering parents to do services if the mother has expressed on the record her intent to leave the children with an assortment of family members?
I wouldn't be able to answer that. I guess mom would.
Okay, now, do you have current concerns about the safety of the children?
Yes.
As the caseworker on this case, do you have access to all educational records and all other records pertaining to these children and their health?
Yes.
Is it your understanding that the father attempted to take the children from school recently?
I believe a call was made to the school that the kids were in danger.
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained.
Has the school, I guess, in some form or another, documented safety concerns about the children?
Law enforcement did. That's who contacted me.
Are you concerned regarding any one particular grandparent's ability to supervise and be protective of these children?
I am.
Which grandparent?
Miss Solis, Cheyenne's mother.
Are you concerned that she's not sought out medical care for the baby since the mother's been out of town?
Yes.
Are you concerned that neither the mother nor the grandmother sought medical care for the child before the mother left town?
Yes.
Is it the duty of both of these women to address any medical concerns presented by these children while they're in their control and care and custody?
Yes, we would hope so.
As this case is progressing, are the concerns regarding both of these parents increasing or decreasing?
It appears to be increasing.
For both parents?
Yes.
At this point, do you have any evidence in this case that would allow you to come to the conclusion that either one of these parents are sober and free of illegal drug use?
Dad has not drug tested, but mom, all of her drug tests have been positive
I would object
for
to
marijuana.
hearsay.
I have the drug test.
Stricken. I don't care if you have the drug test, but I would say hearsay, Judge.
Sustained.
Ma'am, I'll repeat my question as it was, if that's allowed, Judge.
You may.
My question was, do you have any evidence presented to you as the caseworker that allows you to believe that either of the parents are sober?
No.
At this point, has the testimony that you've heard and the presentations that you've heard, the representations by mom, led you to believe that she has no intention of being the primary caregiver of these children in the immediate future?
Yes, she's told me that.
And Dad has not presented any evidence to show he's capable or that it's prudent or safe for him to be the primary caregiver of these children, correct?
Correct.
Judge, I pass this witness at this time.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Dick.
No further questions of this witness at this time, Your Honor.
Right. Thank you. You may call your any other questions of Ms. Townsend Johnson. Anyone? You may call your name.
Not at this time, Your Honor.
All right. Do you rest?
No, Your Honor. At this time, I'd like to actually, let me just recall Mom for a moment.
Right, Ms. Puckett. There we go. All right. You may.
Okay. Ms. Puckett, do you have any medical training?
Yes, I'm CPR certified, and I took a class in SIDS for CPS for whenever I was adopting.
All right. And
And first aid. Sorry.
Sorry, are you a nurse?
No, I am not.
Are you a doctor?
Of course not, no.
Okay. How would you know if a baby needed medical help?
Well, from what I've understood is if they start falling asleep really quickly, or if they, whenever they hit their head, if they start falling asleep, or if they start convulsing, obviously, or throwing up, and, those are the signs and symptoms of needed to be taken to the ER.
Was your baby bruised?
Yeah, she had a bruise on her ear.
On just one ear?
It was on both ears because the way that she went down, there's a board right there, and then, of course, the wall.
All right. So without real medical training, you still determined that the baby did not need to go to the hospital. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, and the fact that I've had 3 kids, accidents do happen,
Why wasn't your mother in the room with you?
I mean, she was in the same home. She doesn't follow me to every single room I go to.
No other questions, past witness. I may need to recall this witness again, however.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Lindsay.
Ms. Puckett, at any time did your baby start seizing?
No, God, no.
And were you able to calm her down after she fell off the bed?
Yes, of course.
Did she act normal and healthy and her normal stuff after she fell off the bed?
Yeah, there was from what I could see, there was nothing wrong with her. The bruises didn't show up until the next day.
Did she eat fine afterwards?
Yes, of course, yes.
Did she wake up easily whenever she fell asleep?
Yes.
Okay. And did you have any concern that your child was hurt at the time?
No, just for the simple fact that she fell. Other than that, I thought she was fine. I still think she's perfectly fine.
Okay. How tall is your bed from the floor?
It's a normal height, I would say.
Okay. And so if your baby needed any type of medical attention, would you have provided it to her?
100%, yes, ma'am.
That's all I have, Judge.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions of Ms. Puckett from anyone? Ms. White, Ms. Porter?
Briefly, Judge.
Okay.
Ma'am, why are you working court-ordered services if your intention is to leave your children with the grandparents?
The only reason that is my intention is because I'm not receiving any financial help at all. I'm not receiving any babysitting help at all for me to be able to attend a job, for me to be able to show up for any of that. I would love to have my children stay with me if I would have some financial capability of doing
Objection
so.
non-responsive, Your Honor.
Overruled.
And I would obviously not want my kids to go anywhere. I've been dealing with this for over a year now. I need to be able to get a job. I need to be able to move on, and
Your Honor,
get
I
to that
object that this
point.
is non-responsive. to the question.
Any other questions, Ms. Purdy-Wheeler?
Yes, Judge, just a few.
Sure.
Perhaps a follow-up to the question I just asked was, do you have a time frame upon which you anticipate being able to financially support your own children again?
Well, hopefully in the next 2 to 3 months, of course. I mean, I don't know how long it'll take me to secure and keep a job. Well, not keep a job, but have the savings from the job.
Where do you intend to live?
I intend to live with my mother.
No, I mean when you leave her home right now.
Oh, so I do have a RV that I have not used yet that I probably will use.
Is this RV running and functional?
Yes, it is.
Are you seeking a job that is in this same area where your children are currently located?
Of course, yes, ma'am.
So how would the RV help you go get a job?
It wouldn't necessarily help me get a job, but it will put a roof over my head.
But you have a roof over your head, correct?
Yes, I do, as of now.
And you would have to pay to park this RV somewhere?
I do believe so, yes.
I'm just having a hard time understanding what could you possibly accomplish living in an RV that you could not accomplish for cheaper by remaining in your mother's home?
And Judge, I'm going to object to relevance at this point. It has nothing to do with compliance or the children, what her plans would be if she was going to live in an RV.
I think that the relevance is her ability to maintain and provide for her children, which is literally the point of this case.
Overruled. Answer the question, please.
Can you repeat the question, please?
What could you possibly accomplish in terms of gaining your financial independence by paying to park an RV somewhere in the same region that you couldn't accomplish for cheaper by remaining living in your mother's home?
Well, I think that I have asked enough of my mother, and it's time for me to be an adult and provide for myself and my children. So I expect to accomplish my independence.
Do you intend to be able to pay to park your RV and to also provide financial support to both sets of these grandparents that will be doing all of the day-to-day caregiving of your children?
We have not discussed a payment arrangement or anything like that, considering the children.
Judge, I don't think I have any further questions for this witness.
All right, thank you. Ms. Dick, back to you. Any other questions from anyone for Ms. Puckett?
Okay, I have a couple more questions. Ms. Puckett, do you currently have a child support order?
I have one out, yes, but it has not been approved of.
When did you apply for child support?
Months ago. I'm not sure to the exact number, but it's been a while.
All right, when you say you have a child support order out, but it has not been approved of, what are you saying?
That I filed for child support, but I have not heard back yet from the district attorney.
Have you contacted the child support office?
I have, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Have you lived in this RV before?
No, I mean, I own it, but I have not lived in it, no.
So you've never stayed in it?
By myself, I stayed like maybe 1 or 2 nights, yes.
Have you stayed with anyone else there?
No.
Have you taken the children there?
There's a pool that we went to with my mom.
When did you go?
It's been a few months now, or a few weeks.
A few weeks, all right.
I'm not sure the exact date.
Did your mother go with you?
Yes, she did.
I'll pass the witness, thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other questions from anyone for Ms. Puckett? Right, thank you. Any other witnesses, Ms. Dick? Any witnesses further, Ms. Lindsay?
At this time, I'd like to call the father.
All right. He was sworn in. You may proceed, Ms. Davis.
Okay. Mr. Davidson, are you still working in the same job?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Have you provided any financial support to the mother of your children?
Yes, and I have proof of that.
How much have you provided on a monthly basis?
I would have to calculate that, but every time I receive money, 90% of it I try to give to them because, I mean, my job pays for my food, so. But she gets help every chance she does. And actually, I have diapers, wipes, and food right here. If you can see that I've tried to contact
Judge, I'm
the
going to
mother.
object to non-responsive.
I tried to contact the mother every week to give them diapers and food, but they don't
Mr.
come get them.
Davidson. Okay. Listen very closely to the question. Answer only what you're being asked. Don't explain, don't elaborate. Your attorney will get a chance. Next question.
Okay. So how much do you make with each paycheck?
That varies depending on hours, but anywhere from $700 to $1,200.
And is that weekly or bi-weekly?
Again, depending on hours. Usually it's weekly, but sometimes we don't work that much.
So
it's kind of like a part-time, I guess, if you will.
Okay, so if you were to, with a $700 check, if you were providing 90% of that, that'd be $560.
90%. I mean, like 90% of the money I obtain, like for myself. I mean, I have bills that come out of that $700. So what's left over, 90%. Yes, I couldn't give you a number of that, but if it was a $700 check, probably at least $100.
So $100 a week.
Yeah.
And
I mean, if it's $700 check, yes.
All right, and how much are you giving her if you get a $1,200 check?
I couldn't tell you the number off the top of my head. I'd give her what she asked for, and then if I have more, I'll give her more. But I have it all documented on CashApp because
Judge, I'm going to object to non-responsive.
Right. Sustained. We can move on from child support.
Okay. So where do you want the children to live, your two children?
Say that one more time.
Where do you want your two children to live?
Judge, I'm going to object to relevance. This is the order to participate.
I have 3 children.
Sustained. Next question.
Have you been able to visit your children on a regular basis?
Not on a regular basis, but the judge granted.
And Judge, I'm going to object to non-responsive.
May I continue?
Sustained. Wait for the next question.
Okay. How often each month are you visiting your children?
Repeat that one more time.
How often each month are you visiting your children?
The judge only allowed me every other Sunday for 4 hours, but all 3 kids have not made it to one of those visits. Except
I'm going to object to non-responsive after every other Sunday for 4 hours.
Sustained.
Okay. How often have you visited your 2 biological children each month?
Again, they only let me see them every other Sunday for 4 hours.
And are you making those visitations?
Yes, and sometimes she allows me more than 4 hours. Like last Sunday, she stayed at my mom's until 8 o'clock with us.
And when you say she, you're referring to Miss Puckett?
Yes, Cheyenne, yes.
Okay.
That was before she left for Colorado.
And Judge, I'm going to object to non-responsive.
Sustained after yes.
All right. At this point, have you done any drug testing?
No, ma'am. I can do them today or tomorrow, but I've been out of town, so no, ma'am.
Were you, are you, well, no, strike that. Okay. Do you intend to go to the appointment on October 9th?
Yes, ma'am.
Where are you currently living?
Currently I live in my apartment that y'all have on file, the 3800 West Baker, where eventually I would like the kids to live. But I'm back and forth between Somerset, Texas. It's close to San Antonio. But my residence is 3800 West Baker, apartment 510.
All right. And is your phone currently working?
Currently it is, yes, ma'am. I just turned it on Thursday, actually.
And have you given that number to Ms. Young?
It's the same phone number. All it was is I couldn't pay the bill at the time. So I haven't reached out to anybody and gave them the number, but I just assumed they had.
And did you confirm that with Ms. Young?
Miss who?
Miss Townsend Johnson. Excuse me, Townsend Johnson.
I believe we spoke the other day in reference to her going to Cheyenne's and finding out.
And Judge, I'm going to object to non-responsive.
Did you
Sustained.
confirm your phone number that it was the same with Ms.
Yes.
Townsend Johnson?
Yes.
Pass witness.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Ivory Lindsay.
I don't have any questions, sir.
Thank you, Ms. White.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Davidson, have you reached out to the providers to complete your services for your anger management?
Yes, ma'am. I did every Wednesday. I want to say 5 or 6. Every Wednesday I got to talk to the lady.
Okay. And then have you made any efforts to complete your BIP program?
So actually, the BIP's kind of confusing. I did the BIP. They emailed me and I did a whole 30-minute interview. The guy told me I didn't have anything else to do.
Okay, so he didn't make any recommendations to you?
No.
Okay.
And
you're starting classes on October 9th, is that correct?
Yes.
Can you tell the court what classes it is you're starting on October 9th?
I believe October 9th should be the whatever the BIP stands for, the
Batterers Intervention and Prevention Program?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Now, go ahead.
I was just going to say I attending any other classes that they had.
Okay. And with regard to your employment, what days of the week do you work?
That every day.
Okay. And what hours do you typically work?
Now that depends. Some days we might have a 3-hour day, and then some days I might have 16-hour days.
Okay.
But
and how has that affected your ability to complete your services?
It's been difficult to do it considering Somerset just really has no phone service, and I don't have a vehicle because I had to sell it to.
And your failure to have them all completed is not that you don't intend to finish your classes. It's your work has affected that?
Yeah, absolutely. I have no reason to try to give my children away. I want my kids to live with me. I have no reason not to complete my classes.
Okay. Now, with regard to the injuries to your daughter, did Ms. Puckett make any statements to you regarding the injuries?
Yes.
What did she say to you?
It's that she had fell asleep and the baby fell off the bed and fell in between the mattress and the wall and landed on a bunch of wood under the bed. And then That was on Sunday whenever we all hung out. She told me that, and then that she was going to leave Noah and everything at the visitation because she
And
needed
Judge,
to
I'm
take
going
the
to
baby.
object to non-responsive.
She was going to take the baby to the
Okay.
hospital, and that's when I found out it was 2 days
Stand,
later.
wait for the next question, Mr. Davidson.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Like the non-responsive part. Next question.
so after she had told you that, what happened next?
Reference your question after
Okay.
she told me what.
After she told you that what had happened with the baby, what had happened next? Did Miss Puckett make any more statements with regard to what had happened to the baby?
Not that I believe so. Outside of what I was gonna say a second ago was she wanted to take the baby to the hospital to make sure she was okay. But that was 2 days after the occurrence is when I seen her.
Okay. Did anyone make any statements about having the baby not being quiet and any frustration?
Oh, frustration outside of the Danny, her boyfriend,
Judge,
getting
I'm going to
frustrated.
object to hearsay.
Right.
No personal knowledge.
Well, who told you about what happened with regard to Danny? Quick.
Blaine, my second youngest.
Judge, I'm going to object to hearsay.
Questions withdrawn, Your Honor. Now, with regard to where the children are going to reside, what did Miss Puckett tell you with regard to where she wants the children to live?
For some reason, she said that she wanted Noah to stay with Hermie, Blaine to go to my parents, and Autumn to go to the state because she feels like she has special needs. But she has an eyeball surgery, so I don't see why.
Okay. And what special needs does your daughter have, if any, that you're aware of?
She's supposed to have a contact in her eye, and she's got to wear an eye patch 6 hours a day so she doesn't lose her sight when she's older. I've never heard of anybody that have watched my children.
Judge, I'm going to go to non-responsive. Object to non-responsive.
Sustained. Wait for the next question.
All right. At this point, I'm going to pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Purdue-Wheeler.
Where were you on September 30th?
1 second, I have to look at my calendar. I'm not sure what day that was.
Your Honor, I'm going to object that he's having to refer to a document that's not admitted into evidence.
I'm just asking him to refresh his recollection.
Right. If
Can you tell me what day that is?
September 30th would have been 7 days ago.
So what day would that have been?
Let me know if your memory has been refreshed, Mr. Davidson.
I just need to know what day that is. I know the 30th, but what day of the week would that be?
It would have been last Monday. Where were you last Monday?
Last Monday, I can't recall off the top of my head. Well, I was in town because Sunday was not my actual appointment with the kids because it's every other Sunday, but I was going to be allowed to see them that Sunday. So I actually do not remember right now.
Did you try to go to the school and pull the kids out of school?
Never once did I. I called the school and I asked if the kids had made it to school. Okay, so Monday, yes. So Sunday the kids came over. So Monday I was at my apartment and I had heard my cousin, about 3 people called me telling me
I'm going to object to hearsay.
Sustained. Wait for the next question, Mr. Davidson. Can't tell me what somebody else said unless it's the mother.
Without referencing what other people said.
Outside
what's
of the
going
mother.
on for you?
So I had talked to Cheyenne on the phone and she had told me about wanting to give the kids away. And then she hung up and I hadn't been able to get a hold of anybody. I asked her, if the kids made it to school because they had a late night the night before. And all I did was call the school and I asked if my children were at school. They told me they couldn't give me any information on my kids because I'm not written down as a father or anything in the system. And I said, okay, well, I would like to know if they're there or not, because if they're not there, they could be in danger, because I've been
Objection,
worried about
non-responsive
this.
point.
Sustained.
Sir, do you currently have a warrant out for your arrest in Hayes County?
Possibly, yes,
Objection,
ma'am.
relevance.
Pretty
Over.
sure during the court-ordered services case he's
Over.
required. Thank you, Judge. So did you
Yeah.
say possibly yes?
Possibly, I have to check.
Objection,
because I know that
speculation.
Sustained.
Sir, if you do have a warrant out for your arrest, do you know what conduct it would be for?
For failure to appear at court would be my warrant.
And what were you supposed to have gone to court for?
That's 5 years old. I would have to call my bail bondsman or something and find that out.
Okay, objection, speculation.
Were you arrested in Hayes County for DWI?
Possibly, I'd have to go back and look, but yeah, possibly.
May I have a time frame, Your Honor?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, wait.
Not for my client. Objection form, I need a time frame of the question. It was open-ended in time.
Oh, I just asked if he was,
Before I had children.
if you let him speak.
Do what? I'm sorry.
You're
Did you-
fine. I'm responding to your attorney, but I wanted to wait for you to pause.
Oh, it's like,
Okay.
I don't know who's talking first. It's kind of like skipping around. I'm sorry.
Kathy, I apologize. My question was meant to be, were you arrested for a DWI for which you are potentially facing a warrant for his arrest in Hayes County currently?
All right. So answer that question, Mr. Davidson, please.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was for Miss Kathy. Can you repeat it?
Were you arrested for a DWI, which is what you were supposed to have appeared in court for recently, which is why you might have a warrant for your arrest?
Not recently, but yes, I have been. It was before I had children.
Do you know when this case started?
I mean, I'm at loss for words on how many CPS cases I've had to deal with being with their mother.
Judge, I'm going to object to non-responsive.
Sustained.
I answered the question. Which one are you referring to?
Sir, it's okay. When the judge says sustained, it means you don't have to finish answering the question. It
I
means
was asking the question.
it means that they didn't like my question, so I'll ask a different one. Would it surprise you to know that I was appointed to represent the children by this court in June of this year? Does that sound right?
For you, yes, that sounds about right.
And so 4 months in, why have you not done any of your services?
Again, I have asked.
Miss Stace's prior testimony. He already testified. He's tried to participate in the services.
Sustained.
Okay,
Wait,
4 months in,
wait.
why have you not done any drug testing?
Why have I not done any drug testing? I have no problem doing any drug testing. I told CPS and the lawyer, I want to say a supervisor at CPS, that I wanted to know why they said I went and took a drug test, and I knew I didn't go because I was working then. And they told me that they argued with me that I did go take a drug test.
Mr.
When it came back
Davidson.
positive, I'm answering the question.
That was not responsive. Why haven't you gone to any of your drug tests?
I have not gone because somebody went under false identity, and as in my view, somebody went and took a drug test, and the drug test place called CPS, told them they passed it, and it went through all these steps, but I was never there. So I was not going to return to do a drug test anywhere until I was told why someone falsely identified themselves as me. Because I don't want to go do a drug test, because if it would have failed, it would have been on me. But because it was passed, they told me, well, what's it matter? You passed. Well, because I didn't take that drug test, so I was not going to take one until I knew why. And I still haven't got a clear answer.
Ms. Purdue-Wheeler, next question.
Thank you, Judge. Sir, in your opinion, do you think that Cheyenne is able to care for all 3 of her children right now?
Currently, no. Is she capable? Absolutely. She's a great mother. But right now, where her mental state is, no.
Okay. I don't think I have any further questions, Judge.
All right. Ms. Dick, what is the department asking me to do today?
Okay. Sorry, I have to go back, and I'm getting a lot of texts right now. We're requesting that the baby be examined as soon as possible. And we also want to send the case through the FACN to explore if the child's injuries were consistent with a fall or child abuse.
Isn't there an open investigation?
There is an open investigation, Your Honor, and Ms. Garzoria is available.
Well, let them order it.
So you're
This court,
recommending that the investigation unit order
this court does not have custody of these children. CPS does not have custody of these children by way of this.
Okay.
What county is that investigation out of? Harris County?
I believe it's out of Chambers County. I can verify that if you'll give me a moment. It should be out of Chambers County.
Judge, if the department isn't requesting it, I am requesting that this case be escalated to a TMC case and full removal under Chapter 262. I'm worried.
Where are the children right now? Are they with Ms. Davidson?
Yes, they were Miss Davidson with her mother and her aunt while she's out of town, but they're still with her.
That's not Miss Davidson.
I'm sorry, they're with Miss
Puckett, I'm sorry.
Tori Davidson?
No, there was Miss Puckett and her mother and aunt right now.
Thought Miss Puckett was out of town.
Okay, so they're with the maternal grandmother and the maternal aunt?
Correct.
All right, and the mother testified that she was wanting whom to go live with Corey Davidson?
The youngest two, Judge. His two biological children. The oldest one is adopted by Miss Puckett.
Right, so AD and BD. To live with Ms. Corey Davidson, correct?
That is correct, Judge.
Okay. And your client plans on allowing Noah to remain with her mother and/or her mother and aunt?
Correct, Judge. She hasn't come to any final decisions. That's my understanding, is that everybody's been discussing it, but it hasn't been anything finalized.
So one of our concerns is that the mother will return to the grandmother's home when she returns from Colorado.
I think she lived there, Judge. Yes, she's going to return there.
We're asking that the mother leave the grandmother's home.
And Judge, I don't think they've pled for that one, even in
In these cases, I cannot order the children outside the home.
But the children are currently living with the grandmother and the mother is not in the home.
only because she's on vacation. Well, not even vacation, but a family emergency in Colorado.
They don't even live there. No.
Mr. Davidson, mute your device, please, and
I was talking. Sorry, I thought you muted me.
no, and be still. Stay stationary, please.
And I think the department is asking the removal the order based on Chapter 262, with the concerns of the mother being left to supervise the children unsupervised by her mother, which was the original arrangement. And I did have a couple of questions for Ms. Davidson regarding that in relation to the recent visit that he had with the mother.
Corey Davidson?
No, with the father, Brandon Davidson. I wanted to ask him.
No, whom do you want to call or recall?
Brandon Davidson. I just have a couple of questions for him relating to the most recent visit.
Which was last Sunday.
Which was Sunday. And okay. How did the mother get to the visit with the children?
Quickly, you can unmute now, Mr. Davidson.
So, Mr. Davidson, how did the mother get to the visit with the children when she came to bring the children to you?
She drove her vehicle. Just her and the kids.
I'm going to object to not respond to that, but she drove her vehicle.
Sustained.
Okay. She drove her vehicle. Was her mother with her when she was in the vehicle and arrived at the home?
We met at a gas station, but no, ma'am.
So the grandmother was not present with the children when the mother was driving the children.
And Judge, I'm going to object to relevance at this point, and there is no order that says mom has to supervise.
Sustained. All right. Is there any other evidence that anyone cares to put on for the compliance hearing?
Not for the compliance hearing for me, Your Honor.
Right. At this time, based on the evidence, the court finds that neither parent is compliant with their service plans. Mr. Davidson and Ms. Puckett, you either get compliant. The reason that you offered Mr. Davidson for not doing any subsequent drug testing as ordered and requested by the department is not sufficient. So you all need to, nope, don't need to hear any more. You all need to work on your services double time and in earnest. Take care of those services. I'm going to extend the case, or I'm going to reconsider removing the children, which I have a feeling the department may ask me to do between now and then. If things aren't quickly rectified and the children clearly safe. I'm taking any oral request for that today under advisement. So with that, I'm directing the department and Ms. Purdue-Wheeler to visit with the children to ensure their safety. And the department knows what's in its toolbox in regard to the Texas Family Code. So, Mr. Davidson and Ms. Puckett, work your services. Drug test. I want Ms. Puckett tested when she comes back from Colorado. My understanding is she is on her way home today.
She shook her head, yes, Judge.
All right.
Sorry, yes, Judge.
Okay. And it was called domestic violence by way of testimony for which you have 3 more classes. Now, is that domestic violence or is that your BIP classes?
It's victims of domestic violence. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
I need that class as well.
Right. Again, well, my understanding is you go on the 9th, don't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask for the victims class as well.
Okay. All right. Okay. So work your services so you all can provide a safe environment for your children, whether it's a co-parenting situation or otherwise. But a safe environment means I don't need to hear anything else today. You just show me, don't tell me. A safe environment means at the least a drug-free and a violent-free environment. So, the word to the wise.
Yes, Judge.
All are
Thank you.
excused. You all are excused. Thank you.
Thank you.